Tiger Woods completes one of the most improbable comebacks in sports history. See how Woods won his first green jacket in 14 years and what he had to say about this historic day at Augusta National. Plus, yesterday was the unofficial start of the college football season. Teams across the country, including Alabama and Auburn, held their spring scrimmages. Coming up, we'll have two reports from the Plains and Tuscaloosa to see how the Tigers and Tide are shaping up so far. It's all on The Last Call, and it starts right now. How's it going? I don't know what's more terrifying, that Tiger on the prow or this one on Masters Sunday. Welcome back to The Last Call. I'm your host, Justin Holbrook. And wow, what else is there to say other than Tiger Woods is all the way back? He's back. It's time to run it back. Let's do it. Tiger Woods is a Masters champion once again, and perhaps the greatest comeback in sports history. Woods conquered personal demons and crippling back pain to win his first major in more than a decade. Coming into the final round, Woods trailed by 2 shots, significant because before today, he had never won a major while trailing heading into the final round. Here he is on 7, great approach, gets it right next to the pin, and that would lead to a birdie. He was battling back and forth with a lot of guys, one of those, Brooks Koepka, winner of both the U.S. Open and PGA Championship last year. He puts this one in for eagle on 9 to go 11 under. A lot of guys in that 11 under mix. One of those guys, Francesco Molinari, he held off Tiger to win the Open Championship last year. He was the leader entering the final round, had a 2-shot lead, but this shot goes in the water on 15. That was one of the 2 holes he had a double bogey on. At one point, 5 golfers were tied for the lead, but Woods on 15 nails the birdie putt to take sole possession of the lead at 13 under, and that's when you can start to feel momentum going in the way of the guy in red. And with the crowd behind him on 16, the very next tee, he hits what was probably his best shot of the entire tournament, gets the slope and hits it right down the hill, and look where that one would end up. That one would lead to another birdie, giving him a 2-shot lead at 14 under with just 2 holes left to play. And on 18, Woods holes out for par and wins his first Masters since 2005 and 5th all-time. 14 years, by the way, is the longest gap between Masters wins in history. Here he is.
Unreal. To be honest with you, it's, just the whole tournament has meant so much to me over the years. Coming here in '95 for the first time and be able to play as an amateur, winning in '97, and then come full circle 22 years later, to be able to do it again, and to have everyone here. It's something I'll never, ever forget.
You can hear it in his voice. Woods now has 15 major wins all time, second only behind Jack Nicklaus's 18. And at 43 years old, Woods is the second oldest golfer to win the Masters behind only, you guessed it, Jack Nicklaus. While Tiger made history once again at Augusta National, one Auburn golfer was making history there for the first time. Here's more on Auburn junior Jovan Rabula, who competed in his first ever Masters.
I mean, it's crazy how things have turned out so far.
Nice shot.
It's just something that's out of this world, honestly. It's heaven for a golfer.
Jovan's invitation to golf heaven came after winning the 2018 British Amateur Championship, securing him an automatic spot at Augusta National.
This is a day he will never forget.
I'm watching it online, and I was like, holy cow, he's going to win. He's going to win. He's going to go to the Masters.
Right behind my shoulder is Jovan Rabula. He's just a junior at Auburn University. He's one of only a few Auburn Tigers to ever play in the Masters, and he's actually the only student to ever partake in this as an amateur.
Having a good day? It's pretty tough.
To be able to experience this early in my amateur career, or late amateur career, hopefully early professional career, is going to be really something special, something that I'm really looking forward to.
Thank you.
All right, you have a good day.
But he's not the first in his family to take part in this tradition unlike any other. Jovan is the nephew of Ernie Els, who knows a thing or two about the game of golf as a 4-time major champion and someone who's been on the PGA Tour for more than 20 years.
He's got good DNA, I guess you could say.
I had to sit down with him, and he said, I think this might be the right choice for you to participate in going to college in America. He's someone who I'm really thankful for to have in my life.
And he's also thankful for his mom, who made the trip all the way from South Africa to see her son play at the Masters. I caught up with her last week when Jovan threw out the first pitch at an Auburn baseball game.
Thank you, Jovan, and good luck at the Masters. And War Eagle.
It's lovely. It's lovely. He's very appreciative of everything, both my children. And proud, proud, proud. Always just so proud. There's really not much more I can say.
And now the South African is making his entire country proud in this part of the South, where he feels right at home.
I've got a great bunch of friends over here who I'm very, very thankful for, you know, who always support you, you know, and the coach is always supportive. And I mean, all these people over here are just unbelievable, you know. I'm truly honored, you know, and privileged to be able to be in the position that I am, and I'm just going to enjoy every experience of it.
Reporting on your side at the Masters, Justin Holbrook, News 3 Sports. Jovan shot 1 over on Thursday, but went 7 over on Friday to miss the cut. Still awesome for him to be there. And before he played at Augusta National, another Auburn golfer was there. For the first time ever, Augusta National hosted a women's amateur tournament, and one of the 72 golfers included Auburn sophomore Kaylee Telfer.
I guess once I'm out on the golf course, that's just me in my happy place.
This past week, Telfer's happy place was one of the most well-known courses in the world, Augusta National.
Being the first one, I mean, it's every girl's dream to go and play on Augusta.
To get things going, 20-year-old South African Kaylee Telfer, sophomore at Auburn.
This year, that dream became reality for 72 women, including Telfer, who took part in the first ever Augusta National Women's Amateur.
It's just growing as a sport for both women and men, and to have us being able to play an amateur event on Augusta and where the men don't have that, it's just, yeah, it's incredible.
Every golfer got the opportunity to play a practice round at Augusta National on Friday, but in order to come back for the final round on Saturday, you had to
make the cut.
Round 1 for Kaylee went off without a hitch, or more aptly, without a bogey, because Telfer was one of only 3 players to not drop a single shot, as the Auburn sophomore finished in 3rd place at 1 under, just 1 shot back from the 2 leaders.
It's just phenomenal. I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
Kaylee's mom and dad traveled from South Africa to see their daughter play for the first time in the U.S. and take part in this historic event. I caught up with Kaylee's mom during the final round of the Evans Derby experience 2 weeks ago in Auburn.
To have come all this way and managed to be able to see a home tournament and then Augusta. And for us, it's a dream as a parent and also as a South African that she's out there representing South Africa.
South Africa has a strong presence in the game of golf. In fact, the country has the 3rd most golfers taking part in the Masters, behind only England and the U.S. But just like Augusta National, the country of South Africa was late to building the women's game.
It started off being like not very big for women, but now it's growing tremendously, and yeah, it's looking good for the next few years.
And it's looking good because of players like Kaylee.
And she played that well.
Things weren't looking good in round 2 as Kaylee shot 6 over, but her overall score of 3 over was good enough to make the final cut after surviving a playoff hole, securing her a spot in the final round at Augusta National.
I was a little bit nervous, but all in all I was very excited just to get going and out on this beautiful golf course. Everything about being here and all the crowds, I love the crowds out here, and playing in front of them has been good.
Kaylee took the practice round experience and used it to her advantage in the final round, shooting 1 under to finish 12th out of 72 golfers. But the finish is secondary to the sport finally welcoming world-renowned amateur women to the hallowed course of Augusta National.
I think golf is becoming more popular. It took a while, but golf is not a sprint, it's a marathon.
That's for sure, and she's at the top of that marathon. We mentioned it at the top of the show, and in 90 seconds we'll take you inside the A-Days for Auburn and Alabama to see how the Tigers and Tide are looking heading into the 2019 season. While Auburn's basketball season was one for the history books, the football season was one to forget. The Tigers had 8 wins and 5 losses and a losing record in the SEC. But yesterday, the Tigers started a new season, and as always, it begins with A-Day. For more, here's Rex Castillo.
Another successful A-Days in the books. This season, the spotlight is on the quarterback battle. Right now, it's a 4-man race, but at the end of the spring game, redshirt freshman Joey Gatewood and true freshman Bo Nix stood out with almost identical stat lines. Gatewood didn't see much action behind Jarrett Stidham last year. Today, he finished with 123 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. The team says this season, Gatewood's confidence is at a brand new level.
his confidence. Like, you can tell, like, once he got in that role, like, of, like, competing for the job, you can tell his confidence just shot up. So that's good. Like, that's what I seen from him.
Auburn fans fondly remember Patrick Nix making plays at Jordan-Hare Stadium. His son, Bo, definitely shined on the same field. Bo finished with 155 passing yards and also had a pair of touchdowns. The veterans say Bo's maturity for a kid who's supposed to still be in high school was very impressive.
You don't know if he's going to go to this prom, but Bo been making plays this whole spring. He's been making plays. He's been stepping up. All them guys have. It's going to be a real good fall.
Head coach Gus Malzahn says there really is no set order to the 4 quarterbacks right now, but they will take all the information they learned today and come up with an order starting next week and definitely have one by the summer. Reporting on your side from the Plains, I'm Rex Castillo, News 3 Sports.
Most teams like Auburn had their version of A-Day yesterday, and that includes the Alabama Crimson Tide. They're, of course, coming off a tough loss to Clemson in the national championship, but have plenty of players returning on both offense and defense. For more, we turn to Chris Rankel from our sister station, WIAT.
Well, coming into the 2019 A-Day game, we thought we would see an Alabama team much like we saw them all last season, a high-powered, high-scoring offense behind Tua Tagovailoa. But in the end, it ended up being maybe like a throwback game, with the first-team defense coming away with a big win over the first-team offense.
Look, these spring games, don't read too much into it. The good guys played against the good guys.
Both the Crimson and the White offensive teams had plenty of struggles, turning the ball over multiple times and really not getting much of a rhythm on the ground. Tua Tagovailoa finishes with 19 of 37 passing for 265 yards, a touchdown, an interception, but he was sacked 4 times.
It's a lot of miscommunication with, me and the receivers, and then, got to get everybody set up. As far as the O-line as well.
But that's just kind of how these A-Day games go when you can't game plan for the defense.
We had the simplest offense and the simplest defense we could possibly have so that more players could play, and the people that we play next year will not watch our game on ESPN and say, oh, let us do a game plan for all this stuff that they're going to do.
Nick Saban made a major injury update after the game, saying that he himself is going to be bedridden for a few weeks as he undergoes a hip procedure, so he won't be able to play golf for the next 6 to 8 weeks. But he says he's doing it because he doesn't want to coach just one more year. He wants to coach several and many more years. So he's going to be on the IR for a little bit, but he should be good to go by the time the Tide meets back up for fall practice. In Tuscaloosa for the A-Day game, Chris Rankel, CBS 42.
Coach Saban looks like he could use some time off. All right, coming up, myself and Jack Patterson go for another round on the last call, and we break down Tiger's historic moment, his impact on the sport, and where this moment today ranks in sports history. Welcome back, everyone. I'm joined by Jack Patterson. Jack, we're wearing red and black. Of course, that's for Tiger Woods.
He's back.
He's back. He is all the way back. He won his 5th Masters, 15th major, his first Masters win since 2005. What was this moment like watching it?
It's hard to believe, man. It's really hard to believe. Watching it right here on News 3, it's unbelievable. You honestly, a lot of people, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I never thought I'd see it again, because I have faith that he could come back and play at a high level.
Right.
But to actually tangibly see it is, just one of the most remarkable things that we'll ever see in sports.
And I think a large part of that is that for us, I mean, his last time he won the Masters was 2005, right? And so 11 years ago, he won a major. I mean, you and I, 2005, we're young people, so we don't remember that even. So fans, both young and old, now have seen either a resurgence of Tiger or somebody that they never got to see before.
Exactly.
And the fact that he has just transformed the game of golf in a way that no athlete has for any other sport before. I mean, he's gone from someone that can turn a casual fan into the largest fan, and somebody that doesn't care about golf cares about golf on Masters Sunday. Usually that's the case, but it's even more hyped up because Tiger Woods is playing in it.
You want to know the impact of Tiger Woods on the game of golf? Go look on Twitter right now. It's absolutely incredible. Just the amount of people pulling for him to, make the comeback, complete. And for him, after everything he's gone through in his life, with all the personal issues back in 2010 with his then wife, Elin Nordegren, and, to the personal issues he had with the DUI a couple years ago, to all the physical issues he had with his back surgeries. He had 4 back surgeries.
Right.
I mean, what athlete do you know comes back from 4 back surgeries?
That shot of him on his knees, that looked like that was it.
to see him come back from there, because there was times where he couldn't even putt the ball.
Right.
And now he is a Masters champion again. It is absolutely mind-blowing.
Is there anything in sports that compares to this moment? I mean, we were watching history, obviously, with what he did. Is there anything in your head that stands out to you that it's comparable?
You're hard-pressed to find it. Just thinking about it, maybe you're talking Nicklaus's 86 Masters win, which was incredible in its own right. You might talk about the Miracle on Ice team from the 1980 Winter Olympics, maybe even the Virginia team from just a week and a half ago, win the national championship after being the first 1 seed to lose to a 16 seed in the NCAA tournament. But those stories kind of lack the personal element of everything that Tiger went through. And let's just be honest, Tiger Woods is probably the biggest star the sport's ever seen and one of the biggest stars in the world. It's kind of hard-pressed to come up with anything that kind of tops this.
And at only 43, I have a hard time believing he's done.
Oh, he's far from done.
He's on the prowl once again. Tiger Woods, a Masters champion.
PGA Championships next month right here on WRBO.
All right, that'll do it. We'll be right back after this. Before we get to the Braves Week in Review, first things first, how? How did they pull off that highway robbery that was the Ozzie Albies deal? They somehow signed a 22-year-old all-star to 7 years for $35 million. That's only $5 million per year, which I know sounds like a lot to us, but in this sport, for that player and that amount of time, that's unheard of. In fact, people from all realms of Major League Baseball are calling this the worst contract ever. And I agree. I know he would have gotten about the league minimum until his arbitration in 2 years, and I know he said he wants to be with his family and them to be safe. I get that, but I also know he said he's not playing for money, so why not wait the team out and get paid in 2 years, or sign a deal that's closer to what he's actually worth, like his good friend Ronald Acuna Jr., a 21-year-old who just signed for a cool $100 million over 8 years. Albies, and more importantly, his agent, Sportsmeter, should have known this deal is not remotely close to what he's worth, and with a team option for 9 years, this phenom that is Ozzie Albies likely won't reach free agency until he's 31. A reminder, he's 22 now. Albies could have walked away with nothing given his current contract, and the Braves took advantage of that fact. Game of Thrones is back tonight, so all I can say is shame, shame, shame. Mostly on the Braves. All right, ran over. Let's get to the Braves Week in Review. It started off as a solid week with the Braves going on the road and putting up 8 runs against the Rockies on Monday, and they put up a touchdown, 7, on Tuesday before getting snowed out. Yes, snowed out on Wednesday. You know, Colorado things. They came back to face the Mets, who have a pretty good team this year. Atlanta struggled in the first 2 games, giving up 6 runs apiece on Thursday and Friday, but they did turn things around on Saturday, smacking 13 hits for 11 runs. And tonight, they were able to split the series by beating the Mets 7-3. Couple of interesting notes here. Atlanta gave up at least 6 runs in 4 games this week, but they did score at least 6 runs in 4 games this week. And it got so bad for their pitching staff that Sean Newcomb was sent down to the minor leagues, and closer Aroldis Vizcaíno was put on the injured list for an inflamed elbow. All right, down in the college baseball ranks, we're getting into the thick of SEC baseball action. Alabama fans, I'm aware that your team's graphic is not here because your team is 4-11 in SEC play. But things are going much better for Auburn and Georgia. The Bulldogs were ranked number 2 in the country heading into this week, and they crushed Georgia Tech 12-2 to start the week. But they lost their first SEC series of the year by falling to Tennessee twice on the road. The Vols shut them out back-to-back games. Meanwhile, Auburn will likely fall outside of the top 25 for the first time this year after losing to Jacksonville State at home on Tuesday, followed by a sweep at the hands of Texas A&M. By the way, Alabama also got swept by Mississippi State, but to be fair to Alabama, the Bulldogs are ranked number 6 in the country. All right, last on the last call, a full circle moment for Tiger Woods. It's the moment you have to see, 22 years in the making. All right, the thing you have to see this week is exactly what you thought it would be. After winning his 5th Masters, Tiger went to his family where he embraced his 10-year-old son, Charlie. What makes this all the more special is that this moment between father and son comes 22 years after Woods embraced his late father, Earl, in 1997. That was the year Tiger won his first ever Masters, and now it's come full circle for a man who has transformed the game of golf.
It means the world to me. Their love and their support is, I just can't say enough how much that meant to me, and throughout my struggles there when I really had a hard time just moving around. But just to have them there, and then now to have them see their pops win, just like my pops saw me win here, it's pretty special.
That it is, far and away the most memorable moment I've seen in sports ever. And I mentioned this with Jack, especially for his young kids. They never knew their dad as someone who is a Masters champion, let alone someone who's won 15 majors. And now they have seen Tiger at the peak of greatness like so many people have before. Truly an incredible moment for someone most thought would never actually be back, let alone winning this sport. He's changed the game of golf, and he's changed this sport more than any athlete has ever changed any sport. Thanks for watching The Last Call. We're on every Sunday at 11:30. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at WRBL Sports. Have a good night.